blew harder, howling through the rigging, driving a stinging rain. "Gimme 020, the captain yelled above the shriek of the gale. "We could lay off," the mate called back. Goliath's bow slammed into a wave. Somewhere forward, a piece of wood snapped free and flew aft, rattling between the stays. The captain leaned closer to the mate and shouted, "Nobody lays off Bermuda in weather like this. There are places them reefs come out 12 miles. Goliath struggled northeast for another hour, yawing before the following wind. With each thudding sea, the hull groaned and creaked. At 3 o'clock the wind let up a little, and the rain, which had been slashing almost horizontally, fell more vertically. The dead gray sky began to brighten. The captain changed course again, heading southeast for half an hour to try to clear the southern coast to the Narrows, the only safe channel into the shelter of the Bermuda archipelago. "We may beat this bugger yet," he shouted to the mate, who smiled and licked salt spray off his lips. An hour later, the storm exploded out of the northeast. The wind roared down on the ship, ripping the tops off the waves and creating black mountains that towered over the masts. Only 2 sails were still flying. The forestay sail went first, tearing off its stays and leaving shreds that whistled in the blow. A huge wave caught the bow and flung the ship skyward. At the crest of the wave, the captain spied a lighthouse. Not lighted, for the wartime blackout was in effect, but conspicuous as a thin white stripe against the blackening sky. He turned to yell something to the mate as the ship slid off the crest into the trough between waves. A wall of water struck, surged across the deck, and battered the captain to his knees. He thrashed frantically, groping for a handhold. His arms found the wheelbox, and he clung to it. Hearing a scream, he looked up. The wheel was spinning free, and as he watched, the mate was hurled into the frothy blackness. The captain lurched to his feet and grabbed the wheel. The ship rose high on another crest, and again he saw the lighthouse. The spanker was still flying. He could make way. If he could reach the lighthouse, he could get into the safety of St. George's Harbor. The spanker held. Careening into the seas, the ship began to move due north. At the crest of each wave, the captain shielded his eyes against needles of rain and spray. He fixed his bow a few points to starboard of the lighthouse. Something moved in the darkness amidships. At first, the captain thought it was flotsam washing aft. Then he saw it was a man, the boatswain's mate, crawling toward him, moving from handhold to handhold, winch to cleat to stay, to keep from being washed overboard. When he was a few feet from the captain, the boatswain's mate yelled. All the captain heard was the word, "Davids!" He nodded and pointed ahead. The boatswain's mate grimaced and came closer. "That ain't St. David's Light!" he screamed. "It is that," the captain called back. "I tell you, that ain't St. David's! That's bloody Gibbs Hill!" "No, it's Gibbs Hill! Look dead ahead!" The captain peered into the darkness. Beyond the bow, not 50 yards away, he saw what the boatswain's mate was pointing at. A jagged line of surf marking the reef. Confused, blinded by rain, the captain had let his ship be blown 12 miles off course to the southwest. He spun the wheel hard to port, and the ship began to bear off the wind. For a moment the captain thought he had cleared the reef, and then he felt the first sickening crunch of timber cracking on coral. The ship jolted to a stop, then jerked forward. It stopped again and again moved forward. The bow rose, then seemed suddenly to drop away. The deckhouse amidships heaved up. The stern rolled off to port. The captain stumbled, reached for the wheel, and missed. His arm slipped through the spinning spokes.